Hello, Summer. Welcome to the Brand Spotlight, episode 2. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
For sure. So, we will be talking to Summer Hartman about summer sleep secrets, all about babies and sleep, helping babies get trained, get the sleep they need. Before that, we will just take a second to talk about our sponsor. Obviously, this is a new show, the Brand Spotlight,
Mhm.
and it's really an outgrowth of my agency, who is the sponsor of the show, Brands Connect. That's brands with a Z, BRANDZ. And what we focus on is crafting specific marketing campaigns that are tailored for your brand. We find every brand needs to be marketed in a different way, and we focus on customizing and crafting those custom marketing campaigns. Without further ado, we are live with Summer Hartman of Summer Sleep Secrets.
Thank you.
I will start by asking you if you could take just in one sentence or two, how would you define your brand?
Great question. My brand is focused on newborns and up to 5 years old, actually. It's a pretty big brand. We cover newborn care, overnight care, we cover daily support. We also are sleep consultants and we cover 4 months and older. We sleep train if needed. And also sleep training, we'll get into that, is for older babies. So we have two sides to our company.
So the newborn care specifically in terms of sleeping, or it's a general newborn care?
Newborn care. So it really is, babies will naturally sleep. That's a whole process that we implement, but we do nothing with crying involved. There should be no crying involved. It should be a very gentle approach, but we are there usually in the home with the parents, teaching them, instructing them, and also using our little secrets to get them sleeping longer stretches at night, healthy stretches at night.
Oh, that's the name of your brand, Summer Sleep Secrets. So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about the sleep secrets. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, if I now I know that I've seen around your website, I've spoken to you in the past. You've actually done some campaigns with our on our agency side.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have a few different products, and you have your obviously your brand mission. Could you just take us through some of your different products or product
Mm-hmm.
categories, and just so we could get a better feel of, it's nice to have a brand, it's nice to have a brand mission, but how does that actually apply to somebody
Right.
actually using your services?
So we do. We have several programs that we offer. First, I'll talk about the parent side of the program. Parents can get an assessment with our team or myself to see what they need for their baby or child. So basically, you'd call in, and I have a packaging that you apply for, and we decide how many weeks of support you need. It could be 1 week, it could be 6 weeks, and that just depends on the needs of the parents and also their parenting style. If I find that they really just simply need some answers, then I just lead them towards my NAP course, because the NAP course covers all of the sleep methods and how to's. So that's a very simple, more approach for parents to just kind of do on their own time. And then if we need to do custom, we make custom sleep plans.
So I take it you take a very consultative approach. It's not just about one size fits all. You really want to see what their needs are, and based on that, you'll customize a plan.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Now, plans seem very abstract. What does a plan actually entail? Does it mean you literally go to their house? Does it mean you send someone there? Does it mean you have a phone consultation? What are the different options?
The different options are, if you need a newborn care specialist, that means someone usually overnight. Um, we send them a couple of candidates to interview, and I'm not an agency, so I just send who's available in the area. They could be all over the world. I have maternity nurses that I'm connected with in England and Australia, New Zealand, Turkey. It just doesn't matter where. I have somebody. Or in the U.S., I just ask my team of people who's available for this job. So I send them over, they interview, and the people or the parents hire them. Um, and then when it comes to the consultations, my team that I've trained will do consultations with them over the phone or Zoom. So it really is like a virtual support system if they're just looking for someone to teach them, but we don't have to be in the home to do that.
Got you. So you offer a lot of phone support. You offer actual people to come down, and
Mhm.
then I know we've spoken in the past before this interview. You also have a book and a course. Could you tell us a little bit about those?
I do. I wrote a book in 2017. It was actually kind of a memoir is how it started because I was losing memory I had a physical problem. And I was like, okay, I got to remember all the stuff that I've learned over the years and all the major cases I've had that are just educational. So I wrote everything down, and someone one of my colleagues said, "You've got to make this into a training. It's so helpful." So I ended up making it into a course, and I had 263 students over the last several years, and I have 41 in my new program, which is a full mentoring program that's now 6 to 12 months. Just depends on what they want. So
And these are for newborn parents or for
these are for consultants and newborn care specialists. So I'm actually training the people going in the homes and also consulting.
got you. So you started off with a book. You
Hmm.
ended up turning it into a training session,
Hmm.
and that outgrew to a almost to a full brand where you actually send people to
Yeah,
different places.
it's a school. It's a full school now. We actually just got accredited. We are through the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. Our program has been approved, and I mean, it's been amazing to have their backing for our company, and it just proves how hard I've been working for the last like 5 years on this project.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Congrats. Now the so how does a parent who wants to sleep train their kid, they don't know what they want, what's the process of working with you?
So it would be a phone call. I would say that they need to schedule a call with me or my team, and we'll actually assess what their needs are. So I don't like to waste people's money or time. I want to make sure that we're fitting their needs, and so it's very specialized in like what they want. And honestly, a lot of times parents um, they don't want any crying or they want limited crying, and we have to explain to them that's a longer process, and that longer process can be more costly, but in a lot of respects it's not. It's still, they train within 2 to 4 weeks. It's a very it's a very gentle approach, and also I teach all different types of methods. So in my program I think I have up to 12 or 15 methods. I can't quite remember because I keep adding more. But, it's all about just being intuitive to your child and to their needs. And we just kind of base the training on that.
12 methods seems like a lot. Do you suggest all people do all the methods, or there's a trial and
No,
error depending on?
no, we definitely, it's funny because I watch a lot of the parent, I watch a lot of the Facebook groups of the parents asking questions, and they're like, oh, I'm doing a Ferber approach, and it's just not working. Well, here's the thing. What parents don't understand and what we teach is that you don't just use one method. You can't. It's literally two or three. So you can use like a Ferber method, but then that's not working. Your baby's not responding well to that. So you have to go in and check on them and do check and console, pick up, pick down, pick up and put down. So those are three different methods. You can't just stick to one. Sometimes you have to have multiples.
So it's much more about diagnosing and finding
Mhm.
the problems, and that then finding what solutions will work for them.
Absolutely. I mean, we are like, I always say that we're like baby detectives or baby tech support. Actually, I own that that name, because we are like tech support. So when you call in your tech, I mean, the guys understand that. When the fathers, when I talk to them, I'm like, basically, we're tech support for you. So we're just going to walk through what is going on, what isn't working, and then we fix it.
That's cool. And what's the price range for your different products?
So it can range from $299 to $1,000. It just depends on what their needs are. If it's just a 1 hour phone call, that would be $299. But if they need like 4 weeks of support, that would be 1,000.
Got you. Wow. But you do the pre phone call to
Hmm.
qualify. So it's like if I call you, I'm not going to be billed for 299. I'll call you. You'll tell us what we need,
We
and then
do we do have a hotline, and that hotline is there is a fee with that hotline because we're going to answer their questions. But if they want just a free assessment to see which one works, then we do that too. Hmm.
got you. So you start off with the free assessment, and then they go into your funnel, and then based on that, you offer them a proposal of what
Yeah.
will work for them. I love this approach. It's a very custom approach,
Hmm.
and
Well, parents have different needs. I mean, we can go and have as many courses as you want. You can take as many, but when you don't have, eh, here's the thing: parents do need to know what to do, and you want to have a fast so you get sleep. I mean, when we have no sleep, our brains we can't function. We get headaches, migraines, depressed. We can have so many things happen when we have lack of sleep. So we really this is a health conscious program to get you sleep and your family in a better situation.
wow. So I think we really covered a lot on the brand side, what your brand is, your different products and services. Did we talk about your course?
So we talked a little bit about the course. The course is actually 6 to 12 months long. Who takes the course is nannies, doulas, newborn care specialists, and sleep consultants, and sometimes moms who want to get into it, into the career. So we cover we start with like newborn care and what the care looks like, and then we go into sleep training and then sleep consulting in my program. And then I frameworked everything. So you have like your 5 steps of everything that you want to be. My program actually gives you 3 to 4 different types of careers, not just
So the
one.
program is not just for the moms who are learning. The course is not just for moms who are learning to sleep train their baby, but as you said before, you're an accredited school. You're also training people how to become sleep consultants and newborn care specialists.
Yes, exactly. So I have 2 sides to the company.
Why did you move from just helping parents to also helping people become
Um,
sleep
I've
trainers?
been I've been mentoring in our industry for since 2008. I started the career in 2007, and once I started learning how to do it, I started helping people, and it just has naturally evolved that I just have a school, and now I've actually have teachers in my school. It's not just me. We have educators in their teaching as well in the industry. So this is a full-fledged like training program for people to become a newborn care specialist or sleep consultant. And I got into it because it was a natural progression. And I also wanted to stop working nights.
Okay, so we'll get into that a little bit later in the interview. But the thing I want to focus on is really the thing that I'm learning from you is that you really went all in sleep consulting and newborn care specialist, and it was really about much more about how to impart that knowledge and help people implement that knowledge
Hmm.
than scaling a course or scaling a product.
Hmm.
It wasn't so much about the product, it was much more about this is great knowledge, people need to know it, people need to know how to implement it. What's the best way for me to have the most people
Yeah.
gaining that knowledge, whether it's me talking to one-on-one parents or me teaching a sleep trainer how to do that. And you really have all the different ways a person can access that information. Starts
Hmm.
with the phone consultation, and you go from there.
Hmm. Yep. That's it. You in a nutshell. It's this, this career is something that you need to be passionate about. I find that a lot of people come in here thinking they're just going to make a lot of money, and it's hard work. So we teach how to do this properly so you also get rest, because that's one of the biggest things in this industry is lack of rest in the on the professional side. Because on the professional side, parents want 7 nights a week. They want 12
When
hour
you say
nights.
professional side, this is for people who are taking a course in order to
Yeah.
become sleep consultants and newborn care specialists.
Yes. Those who work overnights as a newborn care specialist have to balance life. And because parents want all the help they can get. So of course we're very much nurturers. So women who are nurturers are so giving that sometimes we forget about ourselves. So I'm also teaching on the other side is our health is very important so that we can stay in the industry longer because we took care of ourselves.
I love learning about your journey because it sounds like you started as a newborn care specialist and sleep consultant. You started a book, you wrote a course, you started a book, you created a course,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you created this business,
Mm-hmm.
and now you could help people also turn this into a business for themselves.
Yes.
So that's very cool. If we'll go back to the baby sleep training,
Mm-hmm.
when did you start becoming a baby sleep trainer,
Honestly,
sleep consultant?
in 2008 is when I really could say I took on that title when I started working with families and going in and sleep training children, that babies that were 4 months and older. And it was calls I started getting because I had been working with newborns, and of course, parents know parents. So they're all in the parent
Why were
groups.
you working with newborns? You're a newborn care specialist. You're doing
Mhm.
other stuff.
Newborn care specialists, we actually start from the time you come home from the hospital. So we're there for 12 weeks. But sleep training, that's sleep shaping. That's actually like the teaching the parents how to parent, how to be parents and get the baby on a good routine and all of that. So that's not sleep training. What sleep training is after 4 months, and the parents have the baby's going through, and I never call this a regression, but you'll see this everywhere where they're like, my baby's in a 4 month regression. It's actually not a regression at all. It's a transition period. They're developing and they're becoming more aware. When that happens, they need to stop swaddling. Baby needs to roll. See, all these things happen kind of at once at 4 months. And so a lot of times babies that slept are not sleeping anymore. They wake up more often. They also need, and these are great tips if you're watching this and you're in this period of life right now, definitely increase the amount your baby needs to eat during the day. That's typically what's happening is they're having a rapid growth period and they're developing and they need to eat more. Once they get what they need and you increase their amount, that could be an extra feed. That could be like a cluster feed in the evening. That can be where you add an extra ounce to the bottle for each bottle. That gives them what they need. The other thing about sleep training, if you don't mind me sharing this, is that what you feed at night, I find a lot of parents are feeding 5 or even 8 ounces a bottle at night, thinking that amount of milk is going to keep their baby sleeping. And actually, you want to keep that at a minimum because every ounce at night needs to move to the daytimes. So I never try to go over more than 5 ounces or 4 ounces. I try to keep it really at 4 ounces at night through their whole 4 months because we want them eating more during the day than we do at night. So if you're nursing, this is more minutes. So you got to work on the nursing part. You just cut down to 5 minutes versus 10 minutes. So yeah.
Good, great tips over there. Now, I just want to learn a little bit more about your journey. How
Mhm.
did you get into becoming a newborn care specialist?
That's a funny story. My husband and I moved to Phoenix with our 5 and 6 year old. And I thought I thought I wasn't going to have to work, honestly, because the cost of living was cheaper here than where we came from. And I got here and the cost of milk was like double what it was where we were. And I was like, this isn't going to work. The cost of groceries is way more. So I answered an ad on Craigslist when Craigslist was actually popular back in 2007. And it was an ad that said if you had been a baby nurse or a newborn care or a nanny, they were hiring, this agency was hiring. And it was overnights. And I was like, oh, I could do that easily. I'd been a foster mom with infants and I'd been a nanny, high profile families when I was younger. So I was like, I can do this. So that's how I got into it. Is my journey is I answered her ad. It took me 7 hours to fill out her application. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what do I need how long is this going to take to fill out this application? But she had a lot of deep questions in there. And then I interviewed and she put me on a job the next night. And that literally is the journey. It just started immediately. So yeah, 2007.
Oh, wow. And how long did you do that for?
I just retired nights in November of 2021. So
Oh, wow. So you've been,
I've been working the entire time. Actually, I got to go in Sunday night for a client just to kind of fill in, but I'm not taking any contracts right now. I'm semi-retired.
So how did you go from answering an ad in as a newborn care specialist to actually being confident and feeling competent in being a newborn care specialist? It sounds like your initial was just, I need some extra income.
Yep.
Uh, that's not enough to jumpstart a career in a business, just a little bit of extra income. So
No.
what was the journey there?
Well, I fell in love with the job. I actually my first job that I got was a very I'd say difficult job, and it was like either it was going to make me or break me because the clients were the clients were lovely. If they watch this, they know who they are. They're very lovely. But when you go and you work with families and you've never done it, it's a very big journey to learn how to be in a home in their private space to work with them. And they had to learn with me and I had to learn with them. So the journey just naturally, like I said, I took to it very well, to the job. I loved it. And I just basically became a chameleon. And I think that's all of us in the industry. We just become part of the family. Like, and you also learn like where your space is. So like, it's like you're kind of the help, but you're also kind of like you're the leader because they're coming to you for the advice. So you have to have like, I've had some cases where some clients, I've been at the door. I worked for a single gentleman and he had a baby. He just decided he wanted to have a baby on his own. And every night that I'd come to the job, he was waiting at the door and he'd open and he'd go, "Oh, thank God you're here." And he'd just hand the baby to me. And I was like, "Okay, go to bed. I'm fine." Because it's hard to be a single parent. And when you have somebody there that's going to take the baby when they come in, I mean, that's the relief that parents want. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're single or you're married. When we walk in the door, they're so excited. They just give you the baby. And I'm like, wait a minute, I need to wash my hands. It's like always the first thing I do is wash my hands and make sure I put my stuff down. And then I would take on the baby and the parents would go to bed. So it's just the journey was like very natural to me. I have always loved babies. I have to say the journey to working with infants probably started when I was 5 years old. I would take people's babies and ask them, "Can I hold them? Can I hold your baby?" And I was 5. And surprisingly enough, in the 80s, people let me hold their babies. And I also like raised a dentist in our local town when I was 12, hired me to work weekends so he and his wife could go hang out at wherever they went. I don't even know, but I would go and babysit from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night before I'd go to school. So I had the kids when they were newborns at 12 years old. And I did that until I was 16 with their family. I pretty much raised the kids on the weekends. Wow. So this is not something that just actually started at 2007. It's been something long haul.
Wow. And how did you learn what to do? You learn on the job, you took courses, it's intuitive, or was that just a whole mix of things?
At the time, honestly, there was only one training I'm aware of, and I didn't take that training until 2008. So more intuitive, but I was a foster mom. And we had 3 months of training, intense training for newborn to 18. So it wasn't like I was coming in blind. And also I had my own children. So it was nice because I kind of knew what the newborn stage was. But now there's so many trainings out there. And actually, I'm launching my NCS course August 25th. We're actually launching it. There's a secret behind it, but I'm not going to tell you right now because actually I want to announce it on the 25th. But we are launching the NCS course and it's really just everything about how to care for the baby. It's actually really good for parents too. If they wanted
Our
to take
audience and we would like to know what NCS is.
Okay, newborn care specialist.
Oh, you're the newborn care specialist
Yeah.
course. Okay.
Yeah.
That's aside from your sleep training course.
Yes, this is aside from that. Yeah.
Let's go back to your journey. I'm just trying to piece it all together. So you started as a kid, you babysat, you liked kids, you held kids. You went from there to answering an ad in a paper and Craigslist just for some extra cash to falling in love with this little extra cash business.
Mm-hmm.
And then you progressed. How did you go from there to sleep training?
Naturally happened because when you're working with an infant, the first thing parents want is sleep. So as a newborn care specialist, we're in the home. We see the progression, the development of the sleep process. So sleep training just became natural to me. I did read a few books at the time, 2008, there wasn't as many, but I read a few sleep training books that gave me the methods. I did take a training that also gave me the same kind of methods, but I really had to figure it out for myself on the job with the clients, because the books are great, but they don't tell you all the variables that happen, such as like the client panicking when you're training, or the baby not following the schedule, not following the routine, or baby's not eating enough. Like all these things you have to see to kind of gauge what's happening. So sleep training for me became the detective. I had to like really just assess every client. And then honestly, I just got calls after calls after calls. Usually every day I had a call for sleep training.
So basically, you became obsessed with sleep training.
Yeah, it was really easy because the baby's trained immediately, and parents, it was a very addictive feeling because for a sleep deprived mom or dad, they are so desperate for sleep. And when you get to give them sleep and that gift of sleep, it gives you kind of a high because you kind of like, you know, what you're doing is right and you're helping the babies and the parents. So yeah, it was very addictive to learn.
So it just kind of happened?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a progression. And actually, I teach this in my course. So if you become a newborn care specialist and you work the first 16 weeks, then after that, what happens? You leave, right? You go on to the next newborn. Well, parents have things that happen. So I would get calls from past clients and like they're developing and the baby's waking more. So then I would just teach them over the phone. So the sleep training, sleep consulting, it just all came together. It like just flows. So now that's how I wrote my book. It's the newborn stage, the sleep training stage, and then the sleep consulting stage, because it all just flows.
Wow. And when did you did tell me, when did you write your book? How many years later?
I wrote it in a year, and it was in 2000, but started in 2016, but I finished it May of 2017.
How many years were you sleep training before you wrote that book?
About 12 years.
Oh, wow. So it's 12 years of experience packed
Yeah,
into that book.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
how
a huge
do I,
researcher too.
what was
Huge.
that?
I'm a huge researcher. So I have books and books of research that I've done to actually add credibility to what I was doing. I needed to make sure that what we were doing was correct.
How do you balance your own research with what's actually working in the field? There's that part of the book.
So it is now. Yeah, it wasn't before because like writing the book was the stories and kind of like the processes, like the frameworks. But the research has been added over the last, every time I did something, I'd add the research to it. And so that's really now in there. But research is tricky. They don't really research properly. Scientists don't know the right things to research. Unfortunately, it's just something I think they need to work on a little bit more. So you have to kind of take what research says with a grain of salt because they don't necessarily have the right amount of candidates they're researching with. Like it could be a room of like 16 babies, but out of that 16 babies, 4 of them slept and then like the rest of them were like, it's kind of a variable. So really based on my own, like working with families and supporting them, that has really been the main research I've done because I've seen so many results. And I have to say one case I didn't sleep train because, and this is where, if you don't mind, I'm going to share just one little thing.
Sure.
If parents don't follow through, then the baby will not train. So there's been a few cases where I've given money back because I'm like, I can't get through to the parent that they need to follow through. And so if they're not ready for me to teach them, then their baby will not train. It's not a magic pill where you purchase somebody to be in there or you purchase a sleep consultant and bam, your baby's going to sleep through the night, but you didn't do anything in that sleep plan that we wrote you, or it's too hard on you. You have to be mentally mindset ready to make those changes. And I always compare it to weight loss. If you're ready to lose weight and your mind is made up, then that's your brain isn't telling your body, this is what I'm going to do. And you do it, right? Because you're so determined to lose the weight. But if you just say, I just need a pill to help me lose the weight, but you're not going to do any exercise with it, you're not going to do any changes to your diet, that pill will probably help a little bit, but it's not going to really help you lose the main weight. So with babies, if I give you a sleep plan, but you You put it simply, you put little things in place, it's still not going to work if you don't follow the full plan. So think of it in terms that you have to be mindset ready to sleep train.
So it's not like you could just come in and do magic and the parent doesn't have to be involved. It sounds like the parents have to be very involved and invested and interested in using your system.
Absolutely. And I will go in and I will train your baby, especially if I'm flying out, because I've flown out to do several jobs over the years. And they're really invested because what? They paid for my flight. They're paying for my airway to get, or my home, like their car to get there. I mean, it's like they've invested a lot of money for me to come out. Those parents, we train. But if I'm doing a sleep consult, the parents have to implement it. That's virtual. So it's a little harder because they're not having me in the home. Now, we do offer virtual camera support. So I can actually watch what's going on in the nursery. That does help because I can be like, okay, the baby's fine. I want you to give it one more minute. That really helps. That's where the baby, my husband calls it ADT for babies. So like basically we're watching the monitor and we can see the baby and we can see the parents and how they're reacting. And that actually works really well as if I was in the home. But parents have to be comfortable with that process.
Yeah, that sounds a little intrusive, but without knowing the person.
Well, but again, you got to imagine they wanted me there, but I couldn't go in. Having a camera and having me watch the baby works really well. It's actually perfect if I don't have to fly out.
I love it how you just find a different solution, whatever will work. It's really
Mm-hmm.
not about the specific product. It's about implementing your expertise.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you started as a newborn care specialist. You moved into sleep training.
Mm-hmm.
How did you? And that's when you really started to build a business.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
did you? Was it all word of mouth?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't build a website until 2008. And I didn't really market it. I used it as like an kind of just for people to find me, just to see that I was legit. So I didn't really advertise it. And so word of mouth is basically how everything started. And then once you slow down, like I've slowed down a little bit, I'm doing more ads because I'm not in the home. I'm more virtual now. But my name is getting well known. So, people will come if they need it. They'll come to our company.
So it's been word of mouth to get the sleep training business off the ground.
Hmm.
Then you started the book. Then you wrote the book. I assume that was just to talk about that knowledge, that 12 years of
Hmm.
knowledge. It was time to write a book.
Hmm.
And you did mention to me before this conversation that the person helping you with the book actually told you this has to be a course.
Yeah.
It's so important. Now
Yeah.
this course eventually turned into a whole life of its own, and now this course is now being used not just for parents to learn about how to train their newborns, but it's also for professionals who want to get into the sleep training business, whether they're newborn care specialists, doulas, etc.
Hmm.
Could you tell us about how that grew from just becoming a prominent sleep trainer to becoming a sleep trainer who trains sleep trainers?
I was already doing that through the group sessions, like in Facebook groups. I was giving out advice for years. I mean, I'd just be like, "Here's the steps. This is what you need to do."
Not just to new
Well,
moms, but to actual people
no,
that are in the
no, just
business.
in the business. Yeah, I was. So there's a lot of like any business, people don't like to give out their secrets. But for me, I felt like if I was going to be working with people, they needed to know what they were doing. So I always felt that free information was great. Like, here, this is my steps. Here's what I do. Let me send you my schedule that I have for this age. So I was always supporting people. So it just naturally for me progressed into being a teacher and an instructor. I was already doing that for years. So when I wrote the book, people were so excited. Like in our industry, they were like, "Oh my God, Summer's writing a book." I actually gave my book to a couple clients. And the funny thing is, I wrote the book not for clients. I actually wrote the book to be for instruction, be an instruction book for newborn care specialists and sleep trainers and sleep consultants. So when I gave it to the client, she was like, "You give us 30 minutes at the end of in the beginning of the night?" And I said, "Oh, I forgot I put that in the book." I said, "Yeah, you get 30 minutes of my time and then you got to go to bed or we could talk all night." And she's like, so it was kind of funny, like that I actually had a system they didn't realize I have a system. And then I was like, okay, I need my book back because I don't want you to read all my other secrets. But yeah, she read it and she loved it. She was like, this is amazing, pretty much step-by-step growth of my industry, of how I grew. Really, the book is about my knowledge throughout the years.
What's the book called?
It's called Summer Sleep Secrets. It's actually, well, usually I have a book with me. Oh, I do, here. So it's this book. It's a manual, like all the things I've done.
Hit on Amazon. Where can I buy it?
You can't buy it. It's part of my program. But I do have a newborn guide that kind of is the same thing. It teaches like for newborn stage, and I do have an older guide too.
It's part of your program for the people who are becoming sleep trainers.
Yes, this book is for sleep trainers and sleep and NCSs. It's for that industry.
And newborn care. So it's an industry specific book for people taking your course.
It is, yeah. But I do have other materials for parents. I have a download that's a newborn guide that's over 40 pages of exactly the steps you need to take with your newborn. So I do have that now.
And are you looking more to build up the sleep training practice, or more of people of the newborn parents practice, or is it kind of evenly split? You're happy to help whoever wants your help.
You know what? I don't want to give. This is something that people have asked me often. Actually, business coaches. I've hired business coaches the last since 2019 because I've learned I can't do everything on my own, and I'm not the genius on business as much as I love to be. I needed help to learn how to be the genius in business. So I had to hire coaches. And they've just boosted me 100%. Like I now know exactly how to run companies, how to do everything. But yeah, so it's actually, I lost my train of thought, just went to the business coach side. What was the question?
I'm actually very interested in the business coach side of things for a number of reasons. We'll get that into later, but is your goal to build a business that focuses on training sleep trainers how to sleep, or training newborn parents, or does that not make a difference? Whoever comes to you, you're happy to help them. Perfect.
Okay. On that note, the parent side, I will never give it up. I've been told multiple times by coaches that it doesn't make me as much money. So they're like, why would you keep something that doesn't bring in a lot more money than your other side of your company brings in more money? And this is why I won't, because money has never been my motivator. I've never been a person, and I still not. The money is great, and I'm like, I don't even know where the money. My husband manages the money. Hopefully, he's doing it right. I don't know. Honestly, it's not my goal. My goal is to support people, and the coaches side and the parent side. And honestly, I love coaching parents, so I will never get rid of the parent side. I'll just bring in more people that I've trained to work for me on the parent side. So it's and honestly, I feel like I have so much knowledge that to help a parent, to me, makes me feel good. So that's why I keep the parent side, because I can really truly help them.
It sounds like the parent side is where your heart's at, but the profit and the business coaches want to turn it into revenue scaling business, so they're very focused on the sleep training side.
Exactly. So that's where I decided to. I just hired a firm to run digital marketing and all of like the copywriting and like just everything that has to do with the marketing side. I've hired them because I can't do it all anymore. I've been doing it all by myself and with the help of few people, but they can't do it either. So when it comes to marketing, I had to hire a team, and we're actually focused on the parent side. That's what they're focusing on, because the consultant side of my company, I hope you guys are all following this, but the coaching teaching school that I have is already well known and getting well known, but the parent side of the company needed that little extra boost of marketing. So, yeah, so that's what we're focused on right now.
Interesting. That's this whole progression is fascinating. It sounds like you really started at the parent side. You got a tremendous amount of word of mouth through the parent side, which also helped you in the industry side. And that seems like it came from a whole different way. It came from answering people's questions, industry people's questions online. That's how you really marketed that. They got all excited. You have a brand name there. Now your brand name is very strong there. but now back to the parent side. So in order to turn that into business, that's where you need the marketing help. Did
Yeah.
I catch that all correctly?
Yep, that's exactly it. So it's like a piggyback. It's like here, and then back to here. And yeah. So, I mean, overall, my name is definitely out there. I mean, people are definitely learning about me. But I think for the parents, it's also for a certain type of parent. Not every parent out there can afford the services. So I have a hotline that people have been calling, and I've actually been giving out free advice the last 2 years on a baby hotline. And they call up, and I had one gentleman call, and he goes, "My baby's two weeks old, and she just keeps crying, and I don't know what's wrong." And I said, "Well, is your girlfriend or wife right there? And I can ask, is she nursing?" And he was like, "She's nursing." And so I got them both on the phone, and I helped them through what was wrong with, potentially what's going on with the baby. But this is what I always do when I have these calls. It's so important that you check with your pediatrician, because with anything that's going on and you're calling for support or help, I always take them back to either urgent care, ER, or a pediatrician. They need to always be evaluated.
Wow. That's important.
Yeah.
That's important. That's so fascinating. So it sounds like you have that hotline. Now I am going to ask a few more questions in terms of the marketing. We spent a lot of time on your brand, the different things you're doing it within your brand,
Mm-hmm.
where your heart's really at, where the business is at. Those seem to be two different things. So that's very, very interesting. The other thing I'm going to ask you is how I want to transition is how you went to market, and how you brought it to market. You did address a lot of this in the earlier parts of the
Mm-hmm.
interview, and the reason why is because that was all part of the progression of your business.
Right.
But at what point did you realize I'm doing this all myself. I'm doing it all organically. I know you mentioned you hired business coaches, which I told you I wanted to get into that. At what point did you say, I need help in terms of marketing? I need help in terms of a business coach? Because it sounds like it was all happening organically. Why did you just not want to continue? What was that breaking point?
It was actually last summer. I hired a business coach in 2019. She was with me for 6 months, and she kind of, I wasn't ready for her at the time. I have to say my business wasn't where it needed to be, but she kind of got me started on the process of business coach.
Why did you hire her? Like, what was wrong with what you were doing?
I was trying to scale at that time.
So
Nothing was wrong. Nothing was wrong. I just wanted to have a business mind, kind of a business coach's perspective on how to scale really my business at the time. But to tell you the truth, I was kind of spiraling because I was like, she wasn't necessarily able to help me with what I needed to scale was actually the coaching side of the company, the professional side of the company. That's what I needed to scale, but she helped me with the parent side of the company. And so,
but that's what you like better.
It is what I like better. So I ran with it. Right. But then, short story, I got hit by a car.
I'm sorry to hear.
I got ran over by a car at the grocery store, and it threw me and it broke my leg. And so it was like a snap moment when I got hit, thrown, and my leg broke. I laid on the ground, and this tells you when something is off. I laid on the ground and I went, "Oh, thank God I don't have to work." I literally that's how exhausted I was. I had been working 7 nights a week. I had been doing classes and teaching people and flying all over the country. And when I got my leg broke, it literally, like, nobody could believe that that's what went through my head. But I literally was like, it wasn't the broken leg. And I was like, okay, I got hit. It was like, I could actually breathe. I could actually stop what I was doing. And I played Mario for 4 months while my leg healed. I mean, I didn't do any work because I was just like, I was so overworked and so burned out, and didn't realize it till actually I got snapped out of whatever I was doing. And that's when I pivoted, and it was immediate. I played Mario for 4 months, and then I got asked to write a book, a collaboration book, that right when my leg was healing. And I said, sure. I jumped on it, and I wrote a collaboration book with 14 other women who had all had life-changing events happen in their life. And mine was that broken leg that stopped the track of where I was going. And that book propelled me from there to like bestseller. And that's,
Wow.
yeah. So we're a bestseller. And it literally just, that's when my life changed for business. That's where everything changed when I got hit by that car.
So it sounds like even though your heart was in it, you loved it, you were just exhausted. You were
Yeah.
overwhelmed. You were just doing too much. The issue it wasn't even about scaling. It was about you're doing too much
Mm-hmm.
and you have to figure out how to
Right.
create it in a sustainable way instead of just reacting to whatever clients needed.
Yeah. And actually, I had contracts. The day that I could walk again, I was back at work. The day that he said, get up out of the wheelchair and walk, you're fine. You can walk out of the office. I went right back to work that night. So it really was nice to have that 4-month break because my work ethic is unbelievable. I work very, very hard, even to this day. I'm home, but I work like 24 hours a day still. But yeah, so that was my progression. So last year was actually the pivoting moment because I realized that I needed a better coaching system, and either I was going to give it up. I was just going to put it online and not even follow. I was going to give it up and just continue nights. And
What do you mean you needed a better coaching system?
I needed a better coaching system for my teaching program. I needed a better system of how to mentor. And I didn't know how to install that, I didn't know how to put it in place. So I hired a team of women who are coaches, and they helped me put it in place.
So before that, you were mentoring. Did you have a product mentoring coaches at all, or was
No.
kind of ad hoc?
So basically, I had my training program for 3 months at they were events that I held on weekends. So I would go in and I would teach weekend events, and I did
For
that for
sleep
3
people
years.
looking to become sleep trainers.
Yes. So I did those, and it was exhausting because I'd have to talk for 8 hours or sometimes 9 hours a day for 3 days. And so I just so I knew I can't do that. I couldn't do it with my voice it just got really wore out. So I decided to hire a team of women to help me restructure my mentoring program. So now we mentor during the week, 1 hour a day, and I have coaches. So it's not just me now. I have an entire team of professional women actually teaching.
So what you've essentially done is these coaches helped you, your own coaches helped you create your own coaches. That's a different thing. But what it did is it took all the burden on, which was on you, and basically until that point, I assume it was all the knowledge was in your head, in your mind, in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And what you had to do was you had to slowly parse that out and
Mm-hmm.
give it over and delegate that knowledge to other people so that they can now help you run a business.
Absolutely. Yeah. So and we did a whole hiring, like interviewing process to hire the team that we have now. Yeah.
Wow. How big's your team now?
Well, right now we have 5 of us, and we're going to be hiring 2 or 3 more once I launch the new training course too.
This is for the sleep training or for the
NCS, newborn care specialist.
The newborn care specialist sleep training. So this is the industry. This is on the industry side.
All in the industry side.
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on the parent side?
I have 3 people lined up to work. While they are working with me, they've been under kind of training process. So I oversee everything, and I teach everybody. And then I also we have a whole like SOP, like we have a whole
standard operating procedure. So it sounds like you're really turning this from, like I mentioned before, from just reactionary, whatever clients need, whatever a newborn parent needs, whatever a sleep trainer needs. It was almost like you're so obsessive about this in a good way, and you're so passionate about this that somebody would come to you. I need this. I'm here for you. I'm ready for you. Right. Doesn't matter how much it costs. Doesn't matter how much it will throw my entire life upside down. Right. Let's make it work. Let's happen. You need this knowledge. I'll do it for you. And now you've been restructuring to actually build it into a sustainable recurring empire where people could actually go to you. So it sounds like your challenge was a lot less on the marketing angle, but much more on the structuring angle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 100%. But now I have the structure. We're restructuring the parent side now, and then we are, and I have actually hired that teacher that I had, that coach, that business coach, who's amazing. I rehired her in May because now I'm the level that she's going to move me to. See, she was so far beyond me when I hired her that it was just not, we became friends, but for business, I wasn't prepared for her. So now I'm actually above where she's at. I'm actually scaling faster than she is.
Wow. So we've already spent a long time on your journey, on the structure of your brand, where you're going, and it's really, really exciting to see. Now I want to turn into the marketing side of things.
Mm-hmm.
What are a few things that you have done or that you're looking to do in terms of bringing this to market?
So we hired a team of a firm out of Vancouver, BC, and they just launched yesterday our ads.
Congrats.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. They have the whole funnel system that is going to work for parents. So it's like, I'm leaving it to them, but I get to see everything and I can go in and check everything and make sure it's working. And if it's not working, they're going to pivot and change it. So the great thing is we hired them for a year, so we should see how we'll scale in the next year. I'm super excited to see how big we get. And like I said, it's not about the money. To me, it's just finding the right people that works with me and wants to work with me, and then getting parents the right information. And that's what I'm doing with everything.
How did you choose this firm?
Funny. Well, they reached out to me, actually. I get sold a lot of stuff. Like, people come and see me. They help me out. You know, they
I've
see me
sold you
online.
stuff.
Yes, you have. So people, they see, you know, my following on Instagram, or they see my videos and they're like, oh, I want to work with her. That's kind of what happened. But they actually work with CBS and Lululemon and like big companies and Walmart and Target. And so they're big advertising. And I just thought, well, what the heck? It was a really reasonable price. And they're going to do the blogging. They'll write my blogs. They'll write my email sequencing. They create the ads, and they also they do all the different steps it takes to do the funnel, which I've been actually doing tons of research on funnels and everything and making my own, but I don't have time. I'm coaching and teaching and hiring and working with clients. It's exhausting. So I was happy to push it onto them and say, yes, please take it over.
Cool. So you were really looking for a marketing partner. Now, are they doing anything specific? Like, are they specifically focused on ads? Do they also do influencer stuff? What are some other
They're
stuff
not doing the
you've done?
influencer stuff, I don't believe. They're just doing the marketing with the ads, emails, and blog. Like, that's their focus. And then to get parents to come to our program and get on a call. That's really the focus there. Influencers, you know, I've had been a few reached out to me to market them or to work with influencers. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Who knows? Maybe Joe, you'll bring me something.
We've actually, just in pure disclaimer, we started an ad campaign and an interview that will be launched on a pregnancy specific podcast. So that's going to be fun.
Yes.
The ads already, I think, been for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. And the interview, I believe, was recorded. That it just has to be published. It's on Dr. Berlin's Informed Pregnancy podcast. Shout out. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we can always discuss further. And in terms of putting content online, so you said this company is going to do your blogs. That's fun. But it sounds like you really feel like you need to outsource the entire marketing aspect. Are there any things you've done that you've seen work?
Yes. I actually wanted you to bring this up. So when a few years ago, Twitter actually got me boosted, where I had 7 articles in parent.com. I got really contacted by media through Twitter, and I kind of went off of Twitter. I'm not on there right now because it's so time consuming, but I was on a 6-month job and I had to work 12-hour nights, and I just Twittered all night because the parents didn't want me sleeping. They wanted me to be awake the whole night and watch the baby. So I Twittered and I said, bring me your questions. Are you up right now with your baby? And so I became the columnist on Twitter and answered their questions as they were in it. And so the media got a hold of it and started reaching out to me to write articles for their magazines or be on. And I've been on TV a few times, and yeah, so it's fun. I mean, I don't mind helping parents. I just love I love answering them. So that's what I did.
Yeah, it seems like you also got to start a LinkedIn channel.
Yeah, I know. I do need to start a LinkedIn channel. You're right. I just that's the next thing. I also need a podcast. I need to do something.
Yeah, no, you've been doing a lot. You've been doing a lot. So whatever you needed, whatever you're going to do, you wanted to align with your brand, and you wanted to, so to speak, bring you energy instead of taking away. Like you're gonna
Right.
have to replace. You can't add stuff at this point. You've already added so many stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to focus on what's going to work for you. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think it could make sense to make a channel, but it has to be part of your holistic plan and part of what you're doing anyways. You want to attach it to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of seeing another patient that a certain one day a week, you want to do that. You want to do this, and it's not instead of seeing a patient, it's just seeing a patient in a more public way.
Yeah. Actually, that's very true. I can absolutely do that. I have time to put that in. So I will
Yeah.
work on that. Maybe you and I can talk about that later.
Oh wow! I wasn't. This LinkedIn Live was supposed to spotlight your brand, not supposed to sell you on.
Well, you know what? You know what, Joe? It's okay. I get it. You know the answers. That's the thing. I'm looking for people who are willing to work with me and help me, which also helps you. That's how I look for people.
Okay, so I guess it sounds like the Twitter thing really worked. It sounds like you're, just to wrap up this interview, your entire company has really grown in an organic stage, and you're all about helping the parent get better sleep,
Mm-hmm.
helping the sleep consultant help the parent to get better sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it's about.
Yep.
It sounds like in terms of marketing, you have come to the conclusion that you are so focused on helping people sleep, you are really looking for the right marketing partners.
Yeah.
Is there any marketing challenge that you'd like to, or just one or two challenges that you'd like to throw out to our audience? Even if it's just that you're willing to go on interviews, or is there
Yeah.
anything specifically you'd like to throw out to our audience that's on LinkedIn, YouTube, and audio podcast?
I mean, honestly, I'm happy to collaborate with anyone and work together to help them if they need their baby sleeping. I can help them for whatever reason, and they can help me. I'm always up for partnerships. I think I don't really have any specific marketing, but I'd love to be on people's podcasts if they want. I've done about 57 podcasts. So
Wow, wow,
I've
wow.
actually, and also news. I've been on the news and interviewed and all of that.
Cool. I noticed that are you on TikTok yet?
I am on TikTok, but it's not like blown up. Like,
It's not blowing up, but a lot of other people's are blowing up, so that might be
yeah,
a good opportunity to collaborate with people's TikToks.
that's true. I didn't think about that. I could do
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
especially they do the stitch. I don't know how all
Stitch.
these things work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess that's gonna be a, a further conversation. It's
Yes.
almost an hour. Can't believe it. Wow, it's been great. I feel like I learned a tremendous amount of your business.
Yes.
Let's see, how can our audience find you?
So you can go to my website at www.summerssleepsecrets.com, or you can go to Instagram, same name, Summers Sleep Secrets. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can find me there. Or if you need me directly, our hotline is 866 976 4944.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you to our audience. This is episode 2 of the Brand Spotlight featuring Summer Sleep Secrets. We are on LinkedIn Live originally. We are we are also streamed to YouTube. You and we are repurposed as an audio podcast. We are now on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, or really wherever you're able to find your favorite and any of your favorite podcast player. And we are on the brandspotlight.com.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.